Know thyself. In wine there is truth. A society grows great when old men plant trees whose shade they know they shall never sit in. Character is destiny. The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. Do not do what you would undo if caught. The fool tells me his reasons. The wise man persuades me with my own. Time is the wisest counselor of all. The roots of education are bitter, but the fruit is sweet. Good people do not need laws to tell them to act responsibly, while bad people will find a way around the laws. Silence is the sleep that nourishes wisdom. The way to gain a good reputation is to endeavor to be what you desire to appear. Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. Love is composed of a single soul inhabiting two bodies. No act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted. He who commits injustice is ever made more wretched than he who suffers it. Courage is knowing what not to fear. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act but a habit. The eyes are the windows of the soul. Happiness resides not in possessions and not in gold. Happiness dwells in the soul. The way to glory is never an easy path. A society that values its privileges above its principles soon loses both. The greatest wealth is to live content with little. A wise man learns more from his enemies than a fool from his friends. The difficult we do immediately, the impossible takes a little longer. He who is brave is free. The wise learn many things from their enemies. Do not count your chickens before they are hatched. He is not a lover who does not love forever. Circumstances rule men. Men do not rule circumstances. Change in all things is sweet. Knowledge which is acquired under compulsion obtains no hold on the mind. Wise men speak because they have something to say. Fools because they have to say something. Excess generally causes reaction and produces a change in the opposite direction, whether it be in the seasons or in individuals or in governments. It is better to suffer an injustice than to commit one. One learns more from listening than speaking. The gods help them that help themselves. I count him braver who overcomes his desires than him who conquers his enemies, for the hardest victory is over self. He who lives in harmony with himself lives in harmony with the universe. He who commits injustice is ever made more wretched than he who suffers it. He who is a teacher in love takes from the soul of the pupil and earns it for himself. To be a philosopher is not merely to have subtle thoughts, nor even to found a school, but to so love wisdom as to live according to its dictates, a life of simplicity, independence, magnanimity, and trust. Education is the kindling of a flame, not the filling of a vessel. If a man is proud of his wealth, he should not be praised until it is known how he employs it. When you cannot make up your mind which of two evenly balanced courses of action you should take, choose the bolder. The shortest and surest way to live with honor in the world is to be in reality what we would appear to be. Be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle. We are what we repeatedly do. Ignorance, the root and stem of all evil. Learning is not child's play. We cannot learn without pain. A friend to all is a friend to none. He who angers you conquers you. Ignorance is the mother of all evils. Time is the wisest counselor of all. The heart is the chief feature of a functioning mind. Big words are for the small-minded. He who seeks wisdom is the wise one. When words are many, sin is not absent. Wise men speak because they have something to say. Enthusiasm moves the world. A good character, when established, is not easily overthrown. The only thing that is certain is that nothing is certain. Silence is a friend who never betrays. The fox knows many things, but the hedgehog knows one big thing. True wisdom comes to each of us when we realize how little we understand about life, ourselves, and the world around us. The real test of a man is not how well he plays the role he has invented for himself, but how well he plays the role that destiny assigned to him. The measure of a man is what he does with power. He who does not work, neither shall he eat. To find yourself, think for yourself. Let him that would move the world first move himself. Good people do not need laws to tell them to act responsibly. The roots of education are bitter, but the fruit is sweet. Wisdom begins in wonder. The mind is not a vessel to be filled, but a fire to be kindled. Success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. He who is not a good servant will not be a good master. To make no mistakes is not in the power of man. It is better to suffer an injustice than to commit one. Experience is the teacher of all things. The wise learn many things from their enemies. Hope is the only good that is common to all men. A wise man learns more from his enemies than a fool from his friends. A society grows great when old men plant trees whose shade they know they shall never sit in. Education is the kindling of a flame, not the filling of a vessel. The mind is everything. What you think you become. Wisdom begins in wonder. Courage is knowing what not to fear. The first and greatest victory is to conquer yourself. To find yourself, think for yourself. The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. The greatest wealth is to live content with little. What you leave behind is not what is engraved in stone monuments, but what is woven into the lives of others. Your work is to discover your world, and then with all your heart give yourself to it. The secret of happiness is freedom. The secret of freedom is courage. It is during our darkest moments that we must focus to see the light. There is only one way to avoid criticism. Do nothing, say nothing, and be nothing. Excellence is never an accident. It is always the result of high intention, sincere effort, and intelligent execution. Our greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. Success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. To be content with little is difficult. To be content with much, impossible. Fortune favors the bold. A good beginning makes a good ending. Necessity is the mother of invention. The more laws, the less justice. Patience is bitter, but its fruit is sweet. The brave man is he who overcomes not only his enemies, but his pleasures. A happy life depends not on external things, but on how we perceive them. He who commits injustice is ever made more wretched than he who suffers it. A noble spirit finds a way even where there is no way. Happiness is an inside job. The wise man does at once what the fool does finally. Good actions give strength to ourselves and inspire good actions in others. Be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle. Waste not fresh tears over old griefs. Great deeds are usually wrought at great risks. The only good is knowledge, and the only evil is ignorance. He who is not a good servant will not be a good master. It is a rough road that leads to the heights of greatness. One swallow does not make a summer. The sun will not set on your wrath. To be even-minded is the greatest virtue. The greatest wealth is to live content with little. Time is the wisest counselor of all. Everything flows and nothing stays. A word out of season may mar a whole lifetime. Be kind to others, so that you may be treated kindly yourself. Time is the wisest counselor of all. The first and greatest victory is to conquer yourself. You are never too old to set another goal or to dream a new dream. If you're going through hell, keep going. In the middle of every difficulty lies opportunity. Your attitude, not your aptitude, will determine your altitude. The only limit to our realization of tomorrow will be our doubts of today. Opportunities don't happen. You create them. Success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. The best way to predict the future is to create it. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Success is walking from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. You are never too old to set another goal or to dream a new dream. You must be the change you wish to see in the world. If you can dream it, you can achieve it. Do not wait for leaders. Do it alone, person to person. Happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from your actions. Your time is limited. Don't waste it living someone else's life. A man is but the product of his thoughts. What he thinks, he becomes. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. Believe you can, and you're halfway there. Life is really simple, but we insist on making it complicated. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. It does not matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. Success is not in what you have, but who you are. Don't count the days. Make the days count. It's not whether you get knocked down, it's whether you get up. When you reach the end of your rope, tie a knot in it and hang on.